Yo, hello. Right, I'm just warming up for first exercise of the chest day. So this is Smith machine incline press. Mostly warmed up now. And yeah, I had a question about how do I count my sets? So if I'm doing a whole bunch of forced reps, drop sets, partials, like how do I count it? You know, do I count my partials? What is it worth, right? So I like to keep things simple, right? Because progression is important. It doesn't really matter. The particulars of the set don't really matter. All you're really focused on is progression. It's like when somebody asks me for the weight of a leg press machine. It doesn't matter. Just count how many plates you've got on there. And as long as it's going up, that's what matters, right? So in the same way, I just try and keep it simple. So when it comes to your sets, I think just count the whole reps, right? Just a regular set. Count the regular set. All the partials, the forced reps, the drop sets, all that stuff that comes afterwards, it's just icing on the cake. It's just extra good stimulus. You don't have to count it. I mean, like you guys saw my leg day video. My first exercise, the seated leg curl. How am I going to count? How am I going to write that down? I did a set, I did partials, I did a drop set, I did more partials. I mean, that's 4 different sections of the set. No, I just count the first set and the whole reps I did. Simple. And yeah, you just look to improve that over time. It's just a metric to count. That's what I think anyway. Just keep it. Yeah, so the other thing, that was a good set. Enjoyed that. So that was a little bit more weight. Dropped a few reps, but I'm going to build that back up now. Anyway, the other thing was a video going around which is causing a bit of confusion with people about arching and retracting and all that stuff. I'll be honest, I haven't watched the video, just people are asking questions. So let me just clarify that. I want to keep it real simple for you guys. So let's keep it really simple. Let's talk about 2 things, arching and retracting. Now, retraction you should do for powerlifting and for bodybuilding. Retraction means basically shoving your shoulder blades back and down. And when you bench, because that's the context of the question, when you bench, you want to retract. Okay? Now, what that will do is it will, naturally speaking, arch your upper back a little bit. Okay? But I think where the confusion is coming from is, again, I didn't watch the video, but people are just a bit confused about the words. But this is what you should be doing. For hypertrophy, shoulders back and down. Now, I know that some people have added to the confusion with that and told people not to retract. I don't know about all that stuff. I feel safer retracting on inclines and on regular bench. If you disagree, cool, you do what you like, right? But I just want to clear up the confusion because people are a bit confused. Bottom line, do what feels comfortable. But yeah, retraction for bodybuilding purposes, what that will do is it'll pre-stretch the pecs. So you'll get a better range of motion for the pecs, well, better or neutral, and it'll reduce range of motion of the exercise, right? So better or the same range of motion for the pecs and reduced range of motion for the exercise. There's a difference. When it comes to arching, as a consequence of retraction, you will get a small arch, right, from the upper back, the scapula, the thoracic back. But an arch in context of lifting weights, both bodybuilding and powerlifting, actually refers to the arch in the back and the lower back as well, and the entire body. So you can't say you're going to fully arch, not the whole body. You'll arch your upper back, thoracic region, chest. Yeah, but yeah, that's it. We can get into the complexity of the leg drive, but I don't think it's necessary for this talk. Leg drive, just to simply put, you don't want to do it for hypertrophy, definitely not. You probably do want to do it for powerlifting if it fits your form. Some people it doesn't benefit them, some people it does. But that's a quick primer. I'm going to hit my next set. Right. On that note, I'll tell you a funny story about arching. So, you know how a few years back, even now, there's a lot of controversy about the arch in powerlifting, right? Because some competitors, they go really, really banana back, and you see it in the female categories or in the lighter males. And years ago, when I was still powerlifting, this was still a controversy back then, and it kind of blew up on the British powerlifting Facebook. So was it GBPF, the GBPF page on Facebook? It kind of blew up, and there's this big argument about it. And so I just put in my 2 cents. At the time, I think I was still a competitor in the 93 kilo category. And everybody was arguing back and forth on this thread on Facebook. You know what Facebook's like. So I just put in my 2 cents, and I said, it never happens in any category that anyone actually cares about. Because it just happens with small men and women, right? Which I know is a little bit, it's a bit mean of me, right? But I was just kind of half in jest. It was just a bit of banter, you know, a bit of British banter. But anyway, this guy, he takes exception to it, and he gets really angry, and he messages me on Facebook, and he's ranting and raving, he's saying this and that and all that stuff. How dare you say that? You're so, you know, well, which is fine, you know what Facebook's like. That's what Facebook is for, right? People argue back and forth. I didn't reply back to him. But anyway, it turns out, I had a look at his profile. It turns out he lives in my hometown. So for the past, I think it's been 8 years, every time he sees me, and he sees me in random gyms we go to, he just gives me the side eye, which I think is great. He still remembers it, and he's still angry about it. Fortunately, though, he's just a little guy, so who cares? What's he going to do? So yeah, on the topic of partials, just something I want to say about those. You know, the goal is to do full reps, right? The goal is not to do partials. Like, that shouldn't be your intention. Okay, you know what? Like, once I'm satisfied with how many reps I've got, I'm just going to go to the bottom and do partials. That's not the goal. The goal is to carry on doing full reps. So what should happen is, as you begin to fail, and as you fail the full reps, you're still going to try as hard as you can to push or pull as much as possible, but you'll be stopped due to fatigue. So you'll maybe stop at 80% of the rep. These are arbitrary numbers, so don't get caught up. But the point is, you're trying to do a full rep, but you physically are not able. So that's a really good way of, one, doing partials, but also, two, guaranteeing you actually went to failure, right? Or as much as your psyche could muster that day. Yeah, so the goal is not just to jump into the bottom position and do partials. I was working in with a guy last week, a friend of mine, and I was explaining this to him. He was doing a bench press set or whatever it was, and when he felt like he couldn't do any more full reps, he went to the bottom and just started doing little pulses. And I was like, what are you doing? You know, because again, the goal is not to do partials. The goal is still to do full reps. It's just that you're physically incapable of doing the full rep, so the range of motion gets less and less and less and less and less. I think that's important. I didn't think it needed explaining. I thought that was pretty obvious. That's what you were doing, but I've just had that. Well, I've not had that question, but I've seen it a couple of times. I thought it's worth explaining. Right, so that is 6 sets of chest done. Pretty good, pretty good. The Smith bench was very good. Happy with that, good feel. The machine chest press also pretty good. It's a good combination. Not as happy with the flies because they just don't do that much for me. Like, I fail, I tire, but it doesn't really feel like I'm tearing down the fibers, you know? Feels okay in the shoulder as well. They used to hurt my shoulder years ago when I first tried them, 20 years back, but they feel fine. It's just they don't do a lot for the chest, for whatever reason. But couldn't get onto any cables or pec deck, so, you have to make do. So that's pretty decent. I think that's about everything I needed to answer as well. A few questions about various things. So we talked about retraction, arching, talked about the forced reps, how to count them, what to look for. Yeah, okay, cool. But I'm going to wrap up with some side delts, and probably won't film those. I might do a quick pose down at the end. Okay. There we go. Okay, yeah. So that was a good session, It was a good average session. It wasn't spectacular, but it was good. I mean, talk was good, which is nice. Look at this. Pretty fucking sweet. I am consistently about 79 to 80 kilos in the morning now. I would say that's a genuine 15% body fat. Probably started at about 22. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now. But this is when you get good pumps. This level of body fat, 15% down to 10%. This is when you get really like skin-splitting pumps. Upwards of this, you'll get a pump, sure, but you might not appreciate what a good pump is before kind of this point when you're this lean. I think just insulin sensitivity gets better, all that kind of stuff. So, it's pretty sweet. Always makes me laugh when people say pump doesn't mean anything. You know, they say I can get a pump riding a bike or lifting my phone to my face. Whenever I look at the profile pictures, it's always a guy who's not in the best shape, let's say. So it's inevitable. You're not going to get good pumps at that body fat. You're going to get better pumps when you're leaner. It's the way it is. And I think that's kind of confounded by the fact that most people don't really know what body fat they're at. They think they're leaner than they are. Like an internet 20% is like 30%, you know? But anyway, getting off track. That was pretty sweet. Delts. Look, that's pretty ridiculous. Can I say that? Can I say that it's ridiculous? I think so.